while I had decided to avoid talking about this topic for a long time, now I think it's better to just get it out the way, considering that I did make an original video on it, but I don't really agree with it anymore. And also because this was requested. Shout out to you. Haven't made any arguments for this in a long time. Burning versus Spiral, GXK versus KOTM. Day one discussion. Not gonna waste y'all's time, so let me just get to the point. First, I'm gonna assume that you have already watched my G21 versus G19 video, but if you haven't, then that's fine. Let's just do a quick run over of the arguments real quick. G21's atomic breath is better in every relevant way, and this is backed up by the film itself showing this.
I think that's kind of like the evolution he has. He has a different biolume, like I was mentioning, biolume signature, where in this movie, because his atomic breath is so intense, in the previous movie, he used it more as a very short distance, right? And because in this movie, he's using it like to drill on the ground. So you see a lot more of his internal glowing. So we built like a skeleton and a vein system. I think that was shared with the Scanline as well.
Yeah.
So he has, his biolume look has been improved, but I think let's just say he has like a different biolume style.
G21 has the same off-the-chart statement as Nuke, but it would be superior considering that MV technology is constantly improving and that his energy distorted a sonar. Godzilla evolved after King of the Monsters, and those are basically just the main points. And if you want more depth, just watch the video I mentioned. All of just get its G21 to bare minimum relevant to Nuke, but most likely above. GXK is just a more evolved version of G21, and he's at peak condition, and so he's just above him. And Energized stacks on top of this. As they're both amps, I'll be covering both Energized and Nuke. Nuke has multiple statements implying he's an overcharge.
Whatever Serizawa did to Godzilla worked a little too well, because he's about to explode like an atom bomb.
Oh boy, Godzilla's radiation levels are going through the roof.
And that's all he really has going for him. Energized directly has more and stronger radiation. You can tell by looking at both of their readings. And if you are going to debunk what I'm saying by saying, oh, it's the clouds, that wouldn't matter considering that Godzilla absorbed that as well. So I don't know what to tell you, gang.
Atmospheric radiation levels are dropping. He's absorbing it.
Okay, he's charging for something.
While Energized is boiling the water just by being present, and he's not even inside it yet. His foot is boiling it just by being near it. And considering that once he does get in it, it boils it to a far greater extent than Nuke ever did. Energized just takes this. Yes, and no, Nuke was never stated above Energized. This statement isn't saying that Nuke is above Energized. All it's saying is that Godzilla is capable of storing more energy than he normally does. It just used Nuke as an example. Nothing here implies that Nuke beats Energized. Energized is consistently referred to as a supercharge, and the novel describes it as having energy leaking out of him. We know that he has primarily stored his energy within his dorsals. He had so much energy that it spread across his body. Kind of like how Spiral and Burning have their energy spread out. And while jets can get close to Nuke perfectly fine, it's verbatim stated that they can't get close to Energized because of his radiation.
We can't get any closer than this. Godzilla's burning hot with radiation.
With all of this evidence gathered, we can safely conclude that Energized is just above Nuke. Plain and simple, not much else to it. And if you want to wank and say that Spiral equals Nuke, or that Nuke is above Energized because of overcharge logic, then I got you, gang. Energized is relative to Burning, and therefore base evolved one-shots everybody in King of the Monsters. Speaking of Evolved is massively above Energized. I'm aware of the promotional statement saying that he's 2 times above. But if you believe 2 times is a large difference, then we can move on. Nothing much to say there. If we don't, then, I still got you. The novel states and heavily implies that evolved is vastly above energized. Massive difference. Not only this, but the production also adds on to evolved being vastly above.
Gave him a little more athletic legs, tucked in his tummy a bit.
One is like the previous version of Godzilla, and one is like after a workout routine and a diet that allow him to become stronger, a little bit leaner, and a little bit more badass.
His skin is harder. He's got scales that are almost diamond-like. Not only does he have this super hard skin, but he also has little extra spikes.
His head's a little bit bigger. He's got these big elbow spikes, which unfortunately we don't really use in the movie that much, but they look really cool.
With all of these statements, we can conclude that 2 times is a low ball, and 10 times would be more accurate, considering that in his spiral state, he doesn't one-shot Shima, and spiral is stated to be a supercharge.
That came up later, and then we were already done with the chip, and this is the supercharged Godzilla, which I think is super awesome. Yeah.
Knowing this information, Spiral isn't above Shimo, but he is relative. The reason Shimo is relevant here is because it's stated multiple times that she is the strongest threat ever faced, and was going to just destroy everything, and was stated to be the one who directly froze Ghidorah. Now, I'm gonna hold your hands when I say this, gonna hold them real tight. There was no team up in the ancient times. Godzilla being the one who froze Ghidorah was retconned. Simple as that. There was no team up between an amped Godzilla and Shimo to take down Ghidorah. There's just nothing that suggests this. If you still want to say this, then I got you. Team at Dog Stomp's second amped Ghidorah because she can harm energized to his relative to burning.
We always thought that it would be great if it was actually Shimo who long ago had frozen Ghidorah in the ice, King of the Monsters.
So with that out of the way, hey, now for the most talked about part when it comes to this topic, Spiral's energy statements. I'm gonna hold your hand for this one. I'm gonna hold it real tight. Alright, now that I got a firm grip on it, Spiral is stronger. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but there are multiple reasons why I say that he is above. In regards to his strongest energy statement, they specifically mention burning before they say it, which immediately draws a comparison between them, and it ends that comparison by saying evolved is superior. The debunk is that it's like an subjective statement. It's not objective, but there's multiple problems with this analogy. One, the page directly brings up burning, and the reason this is relevant is because it's making a direct comparison. How we know the explosion refers to burning is because the page said released, which means it already happened. Nuke never exploded or did anything similar or something that would count as an explosion. And in the King of the Monsters novel, it stated that burning's final pulse merged with Ghidorah's death, and because of that, it caused an explosion, or just burning's power in general, but let's not get to the statistics. It was also stated that Mark saw a mushroom cloud, which would align with this being an explosion. Now that all of the boxes are checked when it comes to this, is since the page said this, if the page just said that he had the highest energy readings, then it wouldn't be that relevant. Mainly just because there's no comparisons, and you could just say that, oh, burning has no energy readings, more on that in a second. But the main part that gets overlooked is the brightness statement. Yeah, I know brightness, and before you murder me for bringing up glow and brightness, glow is always brought up when in regards to his condition, and they do the same for Ghidorah. They carry over that theme with GXK, where it's now mentioned that not only is his radiation stronger, but it's brighter than ever before, considering that Nuke has statements saying that his brightness/glow equals power, but burning has these same statements as well, meaning that glow and brightness actually does mean something. This adds more weight to the statement, as the inclusion of brightness means that Spiral's radiation is stronger than ever before, because it's direct confirmation of the power, which means it doesn't matter if this is just Hampton saying it, because she's confirming this which is his objective. So with this confirmation of power, it's also stated that Evolved has readings that no one has ever seen, energy no one has ever seen, and when he's supercharging himself. On the follow-up page, it stated that no one has ever seen an energy like Evolved's before, but in a more objective manner, by adding a period hit after it, which implies end of discussion, no ifs or buts. And before that, it stated that without instruments. And because it stated without instruments, then it was directly stated that without instruments, that no one has ever seen energy reading like this objectively. The reason this all comes together is because now we can conclude who's stronger. We can tell that when it comes to the stronger than ever before radiation, that this is the narrator speaking. We can come to this conclusion because of how the writing refers to the scene. It's speaking from a third-person perspective. No I, me, he, or my, no Hampton's thought, no nothing like that. It's just telling us objectively what Godzilla is currently doing. And GXK, when it comes from being a subjective perception, the book tells you by how it writes. During the time of Kong's POVs, it says and refers to what he's currently thinking. In Hampton's case, it does the same thing. But this, it's different, straightforward, and directly tells you what's happening. No nothing like, oh, thought this or that. No, just directly tells you what's happening. This is supported by the fact it adds a dot at the end of the comparison with burning, which means that part is done. And the comparison has been made, it's done. Then it switches over to what's currently happening. So the reason this all comes together is because all of this concludes that Spiral is stronger. They're like basically objectively stronger. They're with no ifs or buts about it. So now that we can conclude this, the progressing narrative also makes this clear. Godzilla, and by extension his opponents, are always getting stronger as the movies go on. G19 is a stronger, bigger version of G14 with bigger claws. Ghidorah is vastly stronger than any Muto. G21 is a faster, stronger, more evolved, more skilled version of G19. He's got more radiation, he's got a better atomic breath, and he's just better in general. Mecha, while weird when it comes to his power, can still reliably be argued above Ghidorah, and I'm not really gonna debate you on that subject. It's like either way, you can do whatever. GXK is just a more evolved version of G21. Shimo is just directly stated stronger than Mecha and Ghidorah. I don't know what else to tell you there. The same thing happens with the amps. G21 is stronger than Nuke amp, or bare minimum heavily relative. Energized is basically just a better version of Nuke amp, and Spiral is just a better version of Burning. The narrative is consistent and clear. Evolved is superior to Burning, and Energized is superior to Nuke amp. Almost all of Burning's statements do not matter, so I'll just go over the relevant one, the scriptwriter statement. The main problem with this statement is just the fact that it's clearly more of a opinion rather than truth, considering that he said that he feels like this is the case and that he can't even give a definitive reason as to why. So that just puts a major red flag here. But by his own logic, not being able to give definitive answers, and based on the information we know, the production is only given the information they need to know. So even the scriptwriter would only have limited information and wouldn't be kept up to date on things like power. And considering that the scriptwriter mentions the mythology department, which was explained by Greg to be the people in charge of the lore and the canon.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the novelizations are canon to like the general Monsterverse films, correct? Like they're still part of it?
What canon is whatever mythology manager says is canon.
Do you have like any input at all in any way on the films, or like not really?
Not really, no. In fact, in most cases, I don't even see the films until my books are nearly written, so I'm working with scripts. So yeah, no, it doesn't flow that way. I talk a lot with those guys. I've had conversations with the directors and the producers, and definitely with the people in the publishing wing pretty constantly. And they have a position there called mythology manager, which I think is one of the coolest positions you could possibly have. Where they keep track of the kind of stuff we're talking about right now, right?
The same people that approved of Spiral having superiority over Burning, which would affect the lore as Burning is shown to haunt the narrative of GXK. Godzilla having that type of power again, or greater power to it, would hold great lore significance, which means the mythology department would be involved. Knowing all this, the scriptwriter statement is invalid. Since I completely forgot to mention the energy readings for Burning thing, my fault. That was on me. Anyways, so let's just get straight into that. It does not matter that this man doesn't have any readings considering the argument I already presented, but let's just debunk this regardless. Just because it's never directly shown that he doesn't have readings doesn't mean he doesn't have readings, considering that the EMP effects of Ghidorah's storm weren't really affecting Monarch, and also that they consistently monitor Godzilla as consistently shown throughout the series, and also considering the fact people like 54, 2014, and people like that don't have any readings yet. We're just never saying that, oh, this doesn't apply to them. And so if it does clearly apply to them, then it should, by definition, apply to Burning. There's nothing that implies it doesn't. In fact, everything implies that it does because it specifically mentions him. Or that Spiral and Energized's multipliers don't line up with them being superior to Burning. That's cross-verse. This is inverse. This doesn't matter. Narrative matters far more when it comes to inverse. We can conclude that GXK is just stronger than KOTM. It's just the way it is. And if you still want to use the multiplier argument, then don't worry, gang, I got you. If you're using 100 times Ghidorah's statement, then you immediately concede to the fact that it was too great for his body to handle.
Much more powerful. He clearly rallies in a way that suggests he gets a lot more powerful, at least temporarily.
Yeah.
But,
he has such violent lightning, he even damages his own wings in the film.
Right.
Which means second amp is complete dog water, which heavily downscales Burning as he couldn't one-shot him, which then just by default puts the likes of Base Evolved above Burning.